Welcome to Autrom, a world where dragons roam. Welcome, fellow YouTube traveler. I'm Baronen, and I'm currently working on a world building project called Autrom. In Autrom, all of the people, the dragonkin, wear their souls on the outside of their body in the shape of a dragon. For this video, I worked on designing a Dwarven hunter and his dragon, while experimenting a little bit with the painting process itself. In this video, I will talk a little bit about both the lore of the dwarves and the designing and painting process. So without further ado, let's get into it. Most of the dwarves live in the Dwarvens to the west, where the majority live in the metropolis in the Great Mountain. In the mountain, the main way of making a living is through the caving industry that the dwarves are most known for. But all of these workers need a lot of food to remain productive. Some of this food comes from mushroom farms from within the mountain. A lot of it comes from farms that are spread throughout the Dwarvens. And a substantial amount comes from hunters in the southeast of the Dwarvens. These hunters have worked there for generations, and the knowledge has been passed on since the First Age, when there were no dragons. Although the hunting techniques have definitely changed a bit since the dragonkin were born. These hunters live, like other dwarves, underground, in houses built into hills. They do this because they are slightly sensitive to light and mostly nocturnal. So they sleep during a large part of the day and then get up when dusk is approaching to start their work. Then a lot of them take a longer nap sometime after lunch and then go back to work. When this is the lifestyle most of them have, it is quite nice to have a house where you can make it very dark during the day. This means that these hunters mainly hunt during the night when a lot of game is asleep, which works in their favor. They mostly hunt larger game, but some of them also hunt smaller animals using traps. They use a lot of different tactics when hunting, depending on what animal they are after. Their dragons are excellent trackers and use their good eyesight and nose to find what they are looking for. This particular one is specialized at diving, much like a pilgrim falcon, but instead of using its claws, uses its large head and strong neck to kill its prey. If it should miss its mark, then the hunter shoots the prey with its crossbow. Sometimes the dragons drive out the animals to get them closer to the hunters, making it easier to hit. These dragons are generally not great at flying for longer distances, but use their wings to gain the advantage of height when trying to spot their target, and conveys this information to the hunter. The hunter's clothes are made out of hides from large animals layered with different clothes made out of fabrics for warmth in the winter. On the outside of the jacket, the hunter wears metal plates that offer a little bit of protection, but not a lot. Their main purpose is to carry runes that can be useful to the hunter. Like most dragonkin, this one wears a fireproofing rune to be safe from inevitable fire accidents. The other runes give him things like better aim, more luck, and heightened senses. These runes are a large part of the society in Autrom, and are a way for non-channelers to take advantage of the magic that channelers have while they aren't in close proximity. They are usually bought or traded, and a lot of channelers make their living only by making runes. A hunter's main tools are the knife and the crossbow, which is his most prized possession and have been passed down for a few generations. The crossbow is also covered in runes that aid the hunter in aiming, making it a very expensive item. Some hunters have to save up for half a life to be able to afford one like this. And that is all the lore I have for you today. I will be back towards the end of the video to talk a little bit more about the painting process. So for now, Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the painting taking shape. I had a lot of fun painting this pair. Going into it, I didn't really have much of a plan, and I basically just came up with most of it on the fly. The only thing that I had in mind was to use a lot of squares when designing the shapes. I did this because squares give the impression of stability and rigidity that I often associate dwarves with. The first day I worked on these guys, I basically just sketched out the rough shapes of everything and painted everything very roughly. I'm not really sure what I think about this process. It is sort of between sketching and refining, and I think it might be a bit of a waste of time. Starting the second day, I began refining the pieces that were already there, repainting them on new layers, painting one piece at a time from shape to basically fully rendered. I did enjoy this process when painting the dwarf itself with all of its different parts, but I didn't enjoy it as much for the dragon when I eventually got to it. With that in mind, I think it is better suited for things that aren't as organic, like armor, tools and things like that. It is really fun though to put down a shape, fill it with different textures and colors, and then add a few highlights to make it pop a bit more. It reminded me a bit of how it is to paint miniatures, which is something I did quite a lot a few years ago. Another thing that I have tried to implement in this piece is a more desaturated color scheme. I want to make Autrom into something a little bit more grim dark, because lately that aesthetic has spoken to me a little bit extra. I think this was a good first try at it, but when I go back and think about it now, I believe I could have gone further to show that this is a hard world to live in, even though everyone has their own dragon. I could have shown more wear and tear on a lot of the hunter's clothes, for example, which is a great opportunity to add some contrast to tell the story. If most of his things are worn, but his crossbow is nice and clean, it can show that he has taken extra good care of his most prized possession. This is something that I can definitely work on in the future. Another thing that I feel I could work on more in my designing is to saturate the design more visually. What I mean by that is to add more details to fill out the shape of the silhouette. Alternatively, making the details that I've already put there larger so that they fill out the shape. It is of course important with the less detailed parts to let the eye rest a bit in a few places. And that is yet another great opportunity for even more contrast. And when I start to make conscious decisions about things like this, I think my art will improve. And that is all I have to say about this painting. Here is the final piece that I painted for this week. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, consider giving it a like, and maybe you like the video on screen right now, so why not give that one a try as well. And don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss any future videos. Also, make sure to comment down below what you would like to see me paint from the world of Autrom. With that said, I want to thank you again, and I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye.